Today, we live in a world where being offline almost feels impossible. We stream videos, play games, send messages, and run businesses, all powered by something invisible, something we call the internet. But have you ever wondered where it all began? Who created it? And how did humanity go from huge, isolated computers to a global web connecting billions? The story of the internet begins not in Silicon Valley, but during the Cold War, in the late 1950s and 60s. At that time, the world's two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, were locked in a race for technological dominance. After the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, the US government realized it needed to advance in science and communication. To speed up research, America created an agency called ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, in 1958. Its mission was to push the boundaries of science and technology. But ARPA soon faced a big problem. Scientists and researchers across the country were working on computers that couldn't talk to each other. Each computer was like an island, isolated, using different hardware and programming languages. Sharing information was painfully slow, often done by mailing physical tapes or punch cards. That's when a visionary idea emerged. What if computers could communicate directly? What if they could share data through a connected network? In 1969, that idea became reality with the birth of ARPANET, the first version of the internet. It wasn't fancy, just 4 computers connected between universities in California and Utah. But on October 29, 1969, something historic happened. A student tried to send the word login from UCLA to Stanford. Only the first 2 letters, LO, made it through before the system crashed. But that small LO, short for login, became the first message ever sent over the internet. From there, the network grew rapidly. Throughout the 1970s, scientists like Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn developed something revolutionary called TCP/IP, a set of rules that allowed different types of networks to communicate as one unified system. This protocol is still the foundation of the internet today. By the 1980s, the internet was no longer just for military or academic use. Universities and research centers around the world began to connect. It was like tiny digital islands slowly forming one massive continent of information. But it was still text-based, no images, no browsers, no Google. Then came a major turning point. In 1989, a British scientist named Tim Berners-Lee working at CERN had an idea to make information sharing easier. He created something called the World Wide Web, a system that used web pages and hyperlinks so people could click from one piece of information to another. He also invented the first web browser, which made the internet visual and interactive. The 1990s exploded with innovation. Suddenly, anyone with a computer and a phone line could dial in to the internet using modems. You might remember the loud beeping sounds of early dial-up connections. That was the moment the internet started to enter homes, schools, and offices. Email became popular, websites began to appear, and search engines started to organize this growing universe of information. By the early 2000s, broadband replaced dial-up, making the internet faster and always connected. Social media, streaming, and smartphones followed, transforming how humans communicate, work, and even think. So, when you scroll through your feed or watch a video today, you're actually witnessing the result of decades of innovation. From those 4 computers in 1969 to the billions of devices connected now. The internet didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was built step by step through human creativity, curiosity, and collaboration. But that's just the beginning of the story. In the next part, we'll go deeper and explore how the internet physically travels across the world, through undersea cables, satellites, and massive data centers that make global communication possible. The internet may seem like an invisible force that connects us all, but behind every click, search, or video stream is an enormous network of physical systems quietly working to make it possible. Most people think the internet travels through the air, as if it were floating in space. But in truth, it moves through a massive infrastructure of cables, routers, satellites, and data centers spread across the entire planet. Every photo, message, or file you send makes a physical journey, and it happens at the speed of light. When you open your browser or play an online video, your data doesn't go straight into the sky. It first travels through a network of cables buried underground or laid across the sea floor. These are called fiber optic cables, thin strands of glass that carry data as pulses of light. Because light can travel so fast, These cables can move information thousands of kilometers in just milliseconds. Inside each cable are many fibers, each capable of transmitting massive amounts of information at once. These connections form the backbone of the internet, quietly carrying about 99% of all international communication. Under the world's oceans lies one of the most fascinating parts of this system: the network of submarine cables. These underwater cables are the highways of the internet, stretching for more than 1.5 million kilometers and linking every continent together. They are protected by layers of steel and waterproof coating to survive the deep-sea environment. When a new cable is needed, special ships carefully lay them across the ocean floor, following routes that avoid mountains, trenches, and coral reefs. Some cables connect Asia to Europe, others connect North America to Africa, and more are added every year as global internet demand grows. These hidden wires are what allow you to send a message from Pakistan to America in less than a second. Sometimes these undersea cables get damaged. It can happen because of natural disasters like earthquakes or human activities such as fishing and anchoring. When that happens, repair ships are sent to pull the broken section to the surface and fix it, a delicate and expensive operation. Still, despite the challenges, these underwater connections are what keep the digital world running. Without them, there would be no global internet as we know it. Although cables carry most of the world's data, satellites also play a vital role, especially for remote regions where laying cables isn't practical. Internet satellites orbit the Earth and act like giant mirrors in space, bouncing data between ground stations and users. In recent years, companies like SpaceX have launched constellations of small satellites, known as Starlink, to provide high-speed internet anywhere on Earth, even in deserts, oceans, or mountains. This technology is expanding access, but it also comes with one major limitation: latency. Because signals have to travel all the way to space and back, there's a small delay in communication. New low-orbit satellites are being designed to fix this problem by staying closer to Earth, reducing the distance data must travel. Once the data leaves these cables or satellites, it passes through massive data centers, the brains of the internet. A data center is a huge building filled with thousands of servers, which are basically powerful computers that store websites, videos, emails, and applications. When you stream a video or open a web page, that content comes from one of these servers. Companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft operate data centers around the world, each one handling millions of requests every second. They're built with advanced cooling systems and layers of security to protect against power loss and cyber attacks. So, even though we talk about the cloud, it's not really in the sky. It's inside warehouses full of machines running nonstop to keep the internet alive. Now, when you open a website, your data travels from your device to your local internet service provider, or ISP. From there, it moves through routers, switches, and long-distance cables, possibly crossing multiple countries before reaching the data center that stores your requested information. The server then sends the response back the same way, all within milliseconds. It's like sending a digital letter that travels thousands of kilometers and comes back almost instantly. The internet feels wireless because of Wi-Fi, mobile data, and satellite networks, but beneath that surface lies a global machine made of glass, metal, and light. Every time you scroll through social media, watch a video, or send a message, your data travels through this vast infrastructure, across oceans, through underground cables, bouncing off satellites and back to your device. It's a silent, continuous flow of information that never stops. In the next part, we'll go even deeper and explore what happens when your device actually connects to the internet, how it finds websites, communicates with servers, and transfers data so smoothly that it feels like magic, even though it's all pure science and engineering working behind the scenes. Every time you connect your phone, laptop, or smart TV to Wi-Fi, you're tapping into one of the most advanced communication systems ever created. But have you ever wondered what really happens after you press connect? How does your device actually reach the internet, find websites, and bring back information in seconds? The process is more complex than most people imagine, yet it happens so smoothly that it feels almost invisible. Behind every click and search, there's an incredible exchange of signals, codes, and global communication taking place at lightning speed. It all begins when your device connects to your local network, the Wi-Fi signal that comes from your router. The router acts like the heart of your home internet connection. It's connected to your internet service provider, or ISP, through a cable line or sometimes fiber optics. The moment you connect, your device is assigned a unique identification number called an IP address, short for Internet Protocol Address. You can think of this as your device's home address on the Internet. Without it, no other computer or website would know where to send information back to you. Inside your house, every connected gadget, your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, gets a private IP address from the router. These addresses only work within your home's network. But your router itself has another address, called a public IP address, which is provided by your internet service provider. This is how the outside world identifies your household's connection. Whenever you send a request to open a website or watch a video, your router takes that request, marks it with your public IP address, and sends it out onto the internet. It also keeps track of which device made which request, so when the information comes back, it knows exactly where to send it. When you type something like www.google.com or youtube.com into your browser, your computer doesn't actually understand those words. Computers communicate in numbers. So, before your browser can reach that site, it needs to know the website's exact numerical address. This is where something called the Domain Name System, or DNS, comes in. The DNS acts like the Internet's phone book. It translates easy-to-remember names into IP addresses that computers can understand. For example, youtube.com might translate to something like 142.250.190.206. When your device asks the DNS server for this information, it gets the correct number and then knows exactly where to send your request. Once the address is known, your data begins its journey. It travels through a network of routers, specialized computers that act like digital traffic controllers. Each router examines your data packet, reads its destination, and decides the best path to send it forward. These routers can belong to your ISP, to large backbone networks, or to companies that manage global internet traffic. Your data doesn't follow one straight line. Instead, it hops across many routers, sometimes crossing continents, underwater cables, and major internet exchange points along the way. What's amazing is that this all happens in a fraction of a second. When your request reaches its destination, it arrives at a server, a powerful computer that stores the content or website you're trying to reach. Servers exist everywhere, in massive data centers around the world. When you visit YouTube, for instance, you're not connecting to one single computer, but to a network of servers that distribute videos, comments, and images. The server reads your request, processes it, and sends the information back in small chunks called data packets. Each packet carries a tiny piece of the information you asked for. Those packets don't always take the same route back. The internet is designed to be resilient, so if one path is busy or broken, the packets automatically take another. When they finally reach your home network, your router and device put them back together in the correct order to display the website or video. It's like sending thousands of puzzle pieces through different paths and watching them assemble perfectly on your screen within milliseconds. Another important part of this process is encryption. Most modern websites use something called HTTPS, where the S stands for secure. This means your data is encrypted before it even leaves your device. Encryption scrambles the information so that even if someone intercepts it, they can't read it. Only your device and the destination server have the keys to decode the data. This protects your passwords, banking details, and personal messages as they travel through the internet. The entire process, from clicking a link to seeing a web page, happens so quickly that you rarely think about it. But it's a dance of precision involving thousands of devices, systems, and networks all communicating in perfect coordination. Every bit of data you send and receive must be carefully timed, accurately routed, and correctly reassembled. Even the smallest delay can cause buffering, slow loading, or disconnection, which is why internet engineers work constantly to improve speed and reliability. In essence, your connection to the internet is like joining a global conversation. Your device speaks through your router communicates with your internet service provider, and from there, the message travels through a maze of networks to reach its destination and back again. This invisible yet perfectly orchestrated exchange is what allows you to stream music, video chat with someone across the world, or access limitless information instantly. In the next part, we'll uncover the true power behind internet service providers, how they control access, manage data traffic, and serve as the gatekeepers of the entire internet experience, ensuring that billions of people can stay connected every single day. Every time you open a web page, play an online game, or send a message, you're not just connecting to a mysterious cloud. You're actually passing through a carefully managed network controlled by your Internet Service Provider, or ISP. These companies are the true gatekeepers of the digital world. They are the ones that physically connect your home, school, or office to the global internet, allowing your data to travel freely across the world. Without ISPs, no one could access the web, no matter how advanced their devices might be. When you sign up for an internet connection, your ISP installs a line, usually fiber optic, cable, or sometimes DSL, that connects directly to your home. This line is part of a massive infrastructure of regional and national networks. Think of it as your personal road leading into the world's largest information highway. Once you're connected, the ISP assigns your connection a public IP address. This address acts like your digital identity, allowing websites, servers, and other computers to know where your requests come from and where to send information back. Inside your home, your Wi-Fi router communicates with your ISP's network through a modem. The modem acts as a translator, converting signals from your devices into formats that can travel across fiber cables or phone lines. Each time you search for something online, your request first passes through your router, then through the modem, and finally into your ISP's vast system of servers and routers. These machines handle millions of data packets every second, directing them to their destinations while making sure no one's connection gets tangled up or lost. ISPs don't just provide access. They also control the speed and quality of your connection. Every internet package you buy, whether it's 20 megabits per second or 1 gigabit per second, determines how much data you can send or receive per second. That's why downloading a movie might take seconds for one person and minutes for another. Behind the scenes, ISPs use advanced technologies to manage bandwidth, prioritize traffic, and reduce congestion. For example, during busy hours when many people are streaming or gaming, your ISP's network automatically adjusts to distribute data efficiently, so everyone stays connected. Your ISP is also responsible for connecting to other networks around the world. The internet isn't owned by any one organization. It's a web of countless networks linked together. When you send data to a website hosted in another country, your ISP passes that information to a larger backbone provider, a company that manages global internet traffic. These backbone networks are connected by massive fiber cables running across continents and under oceans. ISPs pay to use these connections so their customers can reach any corner of the web. In this way, the internet works like a global partnership where thousands of providers cooperate to move data everywhere, all the time. Because ISPs handle so much data, they also play a major role in security and privacy. Most ISPs monitor traffic patterns to detect cyberattacks, viruses, or unusual behavior that might harm their network. They can block dangerous websites, filter spam, and even protect users from large-scale threats. However, since they can also see where data is going, privacy becomes a big concern. This is why many users prefer encrypted connections, or virtual private networks, VPNs, that hide their activity from anyone trying to monitor it. It's a constant balance between safety, privacy, and performance. Another important part of an ISP's job is ensuring reliability. The internet never sleeps, which means their systems must run 24 hours a day without fail. They use backup servers, redundant cables, and power generators to make sure there's no interruption. If one cable breaks or a router fails, the data is automatically redirected through another path. This redundancy is why you rarely lose connection, even when millions of people are online simultaneously. ISPs also manage what's known as the last mile, the final stretch of cable that connects their network directly to your home or building. This is often the most challenging and expensive part of their work because it requires local infrastructure. In rural or remote areas where it's hard to install cables, ISPs sometimes rely on wireless towers or satellite connections instead. As technology advances, more companies are upgrading this last mile with fiber optics, which can deliver faster and more stable internet than older copper lines. But not all ISPs are the same. Some operate on a local or regional scale, serving small communities, while others are global giants that manage millions of customers. These large ISPs own huge data centers, maintain international cables, and form agreements with other providers to share network capacity. Their influence shapes how the internet functions for billions of people. For instance, if a major ISP experiences an outage, it can affect online services around the world, even in countries far away. In the end, your internet service provider is much more than a company that sends you a monthly bill. It's a critical link in the chain that connects you to everything online. It makes sure your data finds the fastest route, protects your connection, and maintains access to the vast universe of information that defines modern life. In the next part, we'll take a closer look at routers, the silent workers that manage the flow of internet traffic, decide where your data goes, and keep the entire system running smoothly without you ever noticing. When people talk about the internet, they often imagine it as a single network that connects everyone directly. In reality, it's a vast web made up of billions of smaller networks, all communicating with one another through devices known as routers. Routers are the true navigators of the internet. They are the reason your message, video, or file can travel from one corner of the world to another and still reach the right destination in just milliseconds. Without routers, the internet would simply not function. It would be a mess of unorganized data with no direction or order. Every piece of information that moves across the internet is broken down into small digital packages called data packets. Each packet carries not just the content, but also important information such as where it came from and where it's supposed to go. Think of it like a letter that has a sender and receiver address written on it. When your computer sends out these packets, they need to find their way through an enormous network of connected systems. That's where routers come in. They act like post offices, reading the address on each packet and deciding the best route to send it on its journey. Inside your home, your Wi-Fi router is the first one that handles this task. When you open a website, your device sends the request to your router, which then forwards it to your internet service provider. But the router's job isn't just to forward data. It also manages all the devices connected to your local network. Whether it's your phone, laptop, or smart TV, the router keeps track of which device requested what and ensures that each one receives the correct data back. Without this organization, your devices would constantly mix up information, and your internet connection would be chaos. Beyond your home, thousands of routers work together to move data across the world. Large internet service providers, data centers, and corporations operate powerful routers that can process millions of data packets per second. These machines are far more advanced than the one sitting in your living room. They analyze complex routing tables, massive lists of possible network paths, to determine the fastest and most efficient way for data to travel. When one path becomes too busy or experiences a failure, routers automatically find an alternative route, ensuring that your data keeps moving smoothly without interruption. The entire system is built on a protocol called the Internet Protocol, or IP for short. This protocol defines how packets are structured, labeled, and sent across networks. Routers rely on it to identify where each packet belongs. In addition, they use another protocol called the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP, which helps different networks talk to one another. You can think of BGP as the Internet's global navigation system. It allows routers from different internet providers and countries to share information about which paths are available and which are faster or safer. This collaboration is what allows global internet traffic to flow efficiently, connecting continents and countries seamlessly. Routers don't just direct traffic, they also protect it. Most routers have built-in firewalls and security systems that block suspicious data or unauthorized connections. This is especially important in corporate networks, where sensitive information travels constantly. These security features prevent hackers from entering private systems and help stop the spread of malicious software. Even home routers come equipped with encryption settings that protect your Wi-Fi from unwanted access. Another fascinating thing about routers is how they handle congestion. When too many users are online at once, data can pile up, creating digital traffic jams. Routers use algorithms to prioritize certain types of data, ensuring that important or time-sensitive information, like a video call or an online game, doesn't lag or freeze. Less urgent data, such as background downloads, is sent afterward. This intelligent traffic control is what makes the modern internet feel instant, even when millions of people are connected at the same time. In large-scale networks, such as those used by companies like Google, Facebook, or Netflix, routers play an even more crucial role. These organizations maintain clusters of routers in massive data centers that connect directly to backbone internet networks. When you watch a video on YouTube, for example, your data might not travel all the way to a distant country. It's often routed to a nearby data center where that video is stored, reducing travel time and improving speed. Routers make these decisions automatically, directing your data to the nearest and fastest possible source. The beauty of routers lies in their ability to make millions of decisions every second, all without human control. They continuously communicate with one another, sharing updates about the status of networks across the globe. If a cable under the ocean gets damaged, routers instantly reroute traffic through another path, maybe through another country or even another continent. You don't notice this happening, but these intelligent machines are constantly adapting to keep the internet stable and reliable. So, every time you stream a movie, download an app, or send a message, countless routers around the world are working together to deliver your data efficiently and securely. They are the silent architects of the internet's structure, unseen, unheard, yet absolutely essential. Without them, the digital world would collapse into confusion. In the next part, we'll explore how all this data, from videos to messages, travels across the world's internet backbone and what happens inside the massive data centers that store and distribute nearly everything you see online. Every image you view, every song you stream, and every message you send travels through an invisible yet powerful system known as the internet backbone. This backbone is the foundation of global connectivity, the set of high-speed networks that move enormous amounts of data across continents every second. It's what links countries, corporations, and millions of smaller internet service providers together. The internet may look wireless and instant, but at its core, it's a vast system of cables, routers, and data centers working in harmony to keep the digital world alive. Imagine the internet as a city with billions of roads. Your home network is like a quiet street, while your ISP connects you to a busy highway. But beyond that highway lies the internet backbone, the superhighway system of the digital world. It's made up of thick bundles of fiber optic cables, often running underground and under oceans, connecting major internet hubs around the world. These cables are capable of transmitting data at speeds close to that of light, using tiny pulses of laser energy to carry information as coded signals. Fiber optic technology is what makes modern internet speeds possible. Each strand of fiber can carry massive amounts of data, far more than traditional copper wires ever could. Inside these cables, data doesn't travel as electricity, but as light. Every light pulse represents a bit of information, a 1 or a 0, and these pulses move through the glass fibers with incredible precision. Because light can be split into different wavelengths, multiple data streams can travel through the same cable at once, multiplying its capacity. This is how global networks handle the unimaginable volume of data generated by billions of users every day. At key points around the world, these fiber cables connect to what are known as Internet Exchange Points, or JEXPs. These are giant hubs where networks from different internet providers and companies meet and exchange data. It's at these exchange points that your information might switch from one network to another, depending on where it's going. For instance, a message sent from Asia to Europe might pass through multiple exchange points as it travels across the global internet. Each one ensures that the data continues along the fastest and most efficient route available at that moment. But the internet backbone isn't just about cables. It's also supported by data centers, the physical homes of the internet. A data center is a huge, climate-controlled building filled with racks of powerful computers called servers. These servers store, process, and distribute nearly everything you see online: websites, videos, applications, and backups. When you open a website or stream a video, you're actually connecting to one of these servers. Each data center is like a brain that constantly sends and receives information, working around the clock to make sure your online world never sleeps. Inside a data center, thousands of servers work together in harmony. Each one has its own job. Some store data, others handle traffic requests, and others perform calculations for cloud-based apps. These machines are connected by high-speed cables and supported by massive power systems. Because they generate a lot of heat, data centers use advanced cooling systems to keep everything at the right temperature. Some are cooled by chilled water, while others use outside air or even underground cooling tunnels. Energy efficiency is crucial because these buildings can consume as much power as a small city. Security in data centers is also extremely tight. Most have multiple layers of protection, from fingerprint scanners and security guards to digital firewalls and monitoring software. Losing access or facing an outage could affect millions of users, so everything is built with redundancy in mind. That means there are backup power sources, duplicate connections, and mirrored servers in different locations to make sure the system keeps running, even if one part fails. The world's largest technology companies, such as Google, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, operate some of the most advanced data centers on the planet. They're strategically placed in regions that provide low energy costs, stable climates, and reliable access to undersea cables. These companies also use something called content delivery networks, or CDNs, which distribute data across many smaller centers around the world. This ensures that when you watch a video or open an app, the content comes from a nearby location, reducing lag and speeding up loading times. The scale of these systems is mind-blowing. Billions of gigabytes move through the internet backbone every second, a constant stream of light traveling through cables under cities, fields, and oceans. The data that started as a small request from your device may travel halfway around the world and back in less time than it takes you to blink. And all of this happens without you ever seeing it. Every day, the internet backbone and the data centers that power it silently carry the world's information. They connect people, businesses, and governments in real time, making everything from online education to space exploration possible. Without this hidden infrastructure, there would be no video calls, no cloud storage, and no global communication as we know it. In the next part, we'll explore the final stage of this incredible process: how Wi-Fi and wireless networks bring all of this global technology right into our homes and pockets, allowing us to connect anytime, anywhere, without a single cable in sight. We've explored how data travels through cables, crosses oceans, and passes through data centers, but one final question remains. How does all of this invisible information reach our phones, laptops, and smart devices without any wires? The answer lies in the fascinating world of Wi-Fi and wireless technology, the bridge that connects our devices to the vast digital universe floating all around us. Even though it feels like Wi-Fi comes straight out of thin air, it's actually a carefully engineered form of communication that uses radio waves to transmit data. These radio waves are part of the electromagnetic spectrum, the same family as light and sound waves, but with much lower frequencies that allow them to travel short distances and pass through walls. When you connect your phone or computer to Wi-Fi, your device isn't talking directly to the internet. It's communicating with your router using these invisible radio signals. The process begins when your internet service provider delivers a wired connection into your home through a fiber or cable line. That line plugs into your router or modem. Inside that device, the electrical signals from the cable are converted into digital packets that are then broadcast as radio waves. These waves spread through the air, allowing your devices to detect them and connect wirelessly. Each router has a specific frequency band, usually 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz, and modern ones even support 6 GHz for faster speeds. These frequencies determine how far and how fast data can travel. Lower frequencies cover longer distances but carry less data, while higher frequencies move data faster but over shorter ranges. When your device connects, it sends its own radio waves back to the router, creating a two-way conversation. Every file you download, every video you stream, and every message you send is broken into packets of binary data that move through this wireless channel in both directions. Your router receives the signals, translates them into the proper format, and sends them through the wired connection to your internet service provider. From there, the data continues its journey through the global internet infrastructure, across routers, servers, and cables, before returning to your router and being transmitted back to your device through the air. To make this communication secure, Wi-Fi networks use encryption protocols. The most common is called WPA, which stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access. It scrambles the data being sent between your device and your router, ensuring that no one nearby can intercept or read your private information. Without encryption, anyone within range could potentially spy on your connection. Modern Wi-Fi systems are much safer, and newer versions like WPA3 make it nearly impossible for outsiders to hack into your network. You might notice that sometimes your Wi-Fi feels slow or weak in certain parts of your home. This happens because radio waves can be absorbed or reflected by walls, metal objects, or even water in the air. To solve this, engineers develop technologies like Wi-Fi mesh systems, which use multiple routers placed around your home to create a seamless network. Your device automatically switches between them as you move, maintaining a strong signal everywhere. As Wi-Fi evolved, so did its speed and capabilities. Early versions like Wi-Fi 1 and 2 offered only a few megabits per second, while modern Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 7 can handle multiple gigabits, rivaling even wired connections. These new systems are smart. They can prioritize important tasks like video calls or gaming, reduce interference from other devices, and manage dozens of connections at once. This is why homes filled with smart devices, cameras, and streaming gadgets can still run smoothly without slowing down. But Wi-Fi is only part of the story. Beyond our homes and offices, mobile internet relies on a different kind of wireless technology: cellular networks. When you use mobile data, your phone connects to nearby cell towers using radio signals in a different frequency range. These towers pass your data through a network operated by your mobile carrier, which then connects to the broader internet. Over the years, these systems have evolved from 2G to 3G, then to 4G LTE, and now 5G, each generation offering faster speeds and lower latency. The upcoming 6G networks are expected to make wireless internet almost instantaneous, allowing technologies like holographic communication and fully connected smart cities to become reality. Wi-Fi and mobile internet together form the final layer of connection that brings the global internet right to our fingertips. Without them, the internet would remain locked inside cables and data centers, unreachable to most of us. These wireless systems transform invisible signals into our daily experiences: streaming movies, video calls, gaming, and endless scrolling. They make the internet personal, portable, and always within reach. So, when you open your phone and connect to Wi-Fi, remember that you're not just joining a local network. You're tapping into an enormous system of light, electricity, and radio energy that spans the entire planet. Your small wireless connection links you to billions of devices, thousands of satellites, and countless cables running beneath oceans and across continents. It's a miracle of engineering, physics, and human collaboration that happens quietly in the background every second of every day. The internet, in all its complexity, is one of humanity's greatest achievements, a bridge between minds, ideas, and information that never stops growing. And Wi-Fi is the invisible thread that ties it all together, letting the world flow effortlessly into your hands.